Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of CEO of Her Life. Today we're going to be going through an introduction, and this is...
I'm Ella.
And I am Tenisha, and we'll be going through what it is that we're doing today and a bit of an introduction into our podcast. I'm super excited about it all, so if Ella, you want to just introduce who you are?
So I'm Ella, I am 22 from Melbourne, Australia, and I'm a full-time digital entrepreneur. But before I got into the whole online space, I was working as a full-time traffic controller, working anywhere between 6 to 7 days a week, working ridiculous hours, and yeah, I just knew that it just wasn't the life I wanted to live. I always felt like I knew that I was going to be something different from everyone else. I didn't want to go to uni, I didn't want to study, I was never good with maths or numbers or anything like that. So yeah, when I came across working online and creating an online income, I just thought, you know, what have I got to lose? I want to do something different from everyone else, and I always had really big goals to travel and to be my own boss. So yeah, I saw the potential here and I ran with it, and that's exactly how I am in the position I'm in today, basically. Tenisha, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am Tenisha, I am from Melbourne, Australia also, and I'm 23 years old, and I have been a digital entrepreneur for 2 years exactly yesterday, which is insane because before I started this journey, I was studying a law degree full-time, and I was actually working part-time at Bunnings, and I always knew that I wanted something more out of life. I always had that big drive. Even from a very young age, I would always work 2 jobs. I would save all of my money just to get by, and then reality hit at the end of the day, and I realized if I wanted to become wealthy, if I wanted to live that dream life, then I knew that I had to do something different. And growing up, I always was told that my dreams were so big, and I even know that even my mom used to say like I was gonna become like a prime minister or something.
Oh
like crazy shit.
For prime minister.
I just always knew that I was going to do something more out of life, and here I am today. I literally wouldn't have it any other way, and I just seen a lot of people becoming very successful, and I knew that the people living those lives definitely weren't just working a normal job.
Yeah.
They must have been doing something else with their life. So yeah, if you want to just talk about how we actually met.
Yeah, so I mean, there's not much to it. I guess we just met on TikTok. I can actually remember like the day that I came across your TikTok. I was sitting on my lunch break or something, sitting in the traffic control ute, and I was just scrolling along TikTok, and then I saw this blonde-haired girl from Australia traveling the world and making money online, and I was like, I want to do that too. So yeah, I sent Tenisha a message, and I can't even remember what I said. I just said,
I don't know.
I think I talked about, because I had before joining this business tried dropshipping.
Yeah.
And I think I said that to you as well. I'm like, I've tried e-commerce, because that's what I thought you did. Like I had no idea what you did.
A lot of people always think and message me and say that like, do you do e-commerce? Like, help me with dropshipping. I get that a lot.
Yeah, the like remote closing, sales, whatever it may be. But yeah, I just sent you a message, and I just said like, hey girl, like what the hell are you doing? And then that same day we jumped on a Zoom call, and I can remember I couldn't get Zoom to work, so we did it on Instagram.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why nowadays, like whenever I have someone that can't figure out Zoom, I kind of feel bad for them, because I was in the same boat. But yeah, I pretty much like got started within like 20 minutes being on the call. Like she kind of answered all the questions I had, and yeah, that's pretty much how we met. I think like a week later we did like, I think we went out for lunch or something like that.
We went out for dinner.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember like I was walking through the city, I was so lost, and I was so nervous. Like I was like, oh my god, what's she gonna think of me?
Yeah.
And then I got there, and then we've pretty much been friends since, I guess.
I know, it's crazy to think that literally you just messaged me from TikTok, and we don't even live far. Like, I mean, we're at Ella's house right now, and we live 10 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
And
I think that was one of the reasons why I signed up, was because like, oh my god, she lives around the corner from me. Like, surely this is like, it's not too good to be true.
Yeah.
But
and like, we had a few mutual friends on social media and stuff, and now look, we literally have traveled all across the world together, and now we're doing a podcast together.
And we've been talking about this for so long as well. Finally
so
got
crazy.
there. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to it. I feel like we always talk about it as well. Like, I don't know what made me like message you, because like I would never do something like that ever. Like, even like messaging like random people on social media, I'd never done it before, and then like that's one time that I do it, it turns out to be like one of the best things I've ever done in my life.
I mean, that was the exact same for me as well. Like, I haven't never messaged anyone before, like when I messaged my mentor, and then here I am today. I was actually really shy, you know? Like, I used to get a lot of like social anxiety. I never really liked talking to strangers, and now we're here today doing a podcast.
Talking to who knows how many people.
I could literally talk to anyone. So I mean, it's been a crazy journey, and that's the whole purpose of this podcast, is so we can give you all the insights and behind the scene of what actually goes on, because I know a lot of the time we just post the glamorous lifestyle and post the good things of being an entrepreneur and having your own business, working online, and people don't really see what goes on behind the scenes and what it's actually really like, you know, like we're actually just true ordinary girls.
Aussie
like
girls.
We're just true Aussie girls, and there's not much more to it. We just had an above average desire to want something more out of life, and we just made it happen.
100%. And I feel like as well, like with this whole podcast, like it's going to be good for everyone to see like what we actually are like, and like our stories as well, because obviously with posting like TikToks and Instagram, people just, it's like it's a book cover, you know, like, but actually getting to know like what we do on a day-to-day basis, and the things that we've learned, and the things that we do differently, and we also want to bring everyone along for like all the amazing like plans that we have as well, and just kind of like show people that I think anyone can actually do this. As long as you've got like a work ethic and you've got those goals. And I feel like we say it all the time, is if you've got a strong why, like if you remember the reason why you started, and then you remember the goals that you have, and you really just work towards those goals, and I don't think it's, you know, limited to anyone to get into this kind of space. We just want to show that it's possible for everyone, because a lot of people don't think it's actually possible for them. A lot of people see where we are now and not see us for who we have become in our journey, and they just see the end result, and they just think it's not possible for them, and don't actually realize that we are just two girls coming from, and like, you know, you've been in it for 2 years, like of course, like, you know, you've mastered some of the skills by now, and like me, a year, like I'm still learning, and you never stop learning as well. But I feel like people don't remember, like we started off as complete newbies as well. Like I was just showing you my TikToks from like the start. Well, we're not going to talk about it, but like it's just this whole entire journey, and like becoming an entrepreneur or trying out a side hustle, like you have to start somewhere. You have to just start somewhere and be vulnerable as well. Like I feel like a lot of people, they don't give themselves the vulnerability. Sorry guys, sometimes I have a bit of a speech impediment, I can say that word, but and as well, we're not very good with technology. We got a camera for this, so we're going to be working on our skill sets whilst also recording this as well, so bear with us, because we're on our own journey too, and I feel like we have gotten to the level where we are now, and we sacrificed a lot. So for me, for the past 2 years, for you the past year and a bit, we sacrificed a lot, and we were in the trenches, and now we want to showcase the real raw of things, you know, 100%. And give you some more value, more insights of everything and who we are as a person, because I feel like we don't really showcase that much, and we try our best, but we have always been pretty busy with other things. 100%. And I feel like now that like we've gone through so many like learning experiences, we have so much more to offer. Like we've talked about doing a podcast for so long, but like back in like a few months ago, there was probably only so much we could say, but now like we could talk like all day. And I feel like especially from our mindset now in the business, like we have a lot more value to give, and we have developed so much, and compared to when, of course, first starting out, I don't
think we were of a valuable person to give the information that we're going to be going through. So yeah, I mean, I just hope that at least someone can learn something from this, take something away from this, no matter what aspect of life you are in. And of course, just take the information that relates to you, because something we may say may not be relatable to you, but just learn from our mindset and how we think of things. And yeah.
I guess we'll kind of go into like more detail. I mean, like what we want to like talk about, because obviously like we work online and we're full-time digital entrepreneurs, but we do want to make this, like as we've said, like we want to make it more raw and real, and talk about like our stories too, because obviously there's so much to go into, and there's only so much that we can kind of put over TikTok and over Instagram and stuff. And I feel like the larger like our whole team grows, and like the more feedback that we get from people in our team, I think like we've noticed that like a lot of people, they get the inspiration when they actually get to know someone in this business. And that's what we just want to be vulnerable and like show everyone that, like, you know, it's good to be weak sometimes as well. And like, I mean, maybe we don't want to sit here all day and talk about every single detail and story, but it's only going to bring good things, I think. And
showcase as much as we can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's something like some topics I've been thinking about that I really want to talk about is building the business specifically in Australia, because I know that there's not a lot of people that I personally know that are entrepreneurs. Before starting this, I didn't really know anyone like making money online. I knew no one, and I really want to showcase that, especially for Australia, because I feel like
we're in it so early.
Like this is so early here, and there's so much room for growth and improvement, and also for other countries as well. I'm sure you guys can relate to,
100%,
because it's always pretty similar. We all come from very different backgrounds, but can always relate in the same way. And just like the culture, building it here in Australia, and also relationships too, because I did think of something and I thought, well, I started this business in a relationship, and now I haven't been in one for nearly 2 years, and then Ella's been in a relationship the whole time. I wanted to give some insight on like relationships as well whilst building the business, and just girl things.
I mean, like I feel like a lot of people think like, you know, to be successful with this kind of stuff you need to give your whole entire life to it, and like for some people that is the case. Like some people really just give their all of themselves to it, but like me being in a relationship and having, you know, a life out of this, like it's doable. You know, it's so manageable. It's just a matter of just like finding what works. And like sacrificing in the right places. Like there was probably like a couple months where I didn't go on a date night or anything, but I mean now we're here and like it's okay, because it's all been worth it and stuff. But I feel like it's very different perspectives. Like we've had like, obviously we're both at this point in our business, but we've had completely different journeys as well. Like it's not the same for, I don't think, one person in this whole business. I think it's good getting the both perspectives, because like, I mean, yes, we are very similar, but we are very different. We are. You know that TikTok where it's like extrovert, introvert, or like says something, doesn't say something. Like we're like the perfect mixture of both, I think.
I think it complements each other really nice. Like us building the business together.
Stop it. I feel like we both have different stories as well. Like obviously the more we've gotten to know each other, is like, oh my god, there's some things like in our childhood that we went through like the exact same thing, but then it's also really, really different. And I think we've both got a similar drive in some senses, but our main drive has come from very different places. So I mean, if you want to give like maybe like a brief kind of like sneak peek, I guess, into your story.
So for myself, I mean, growing up was tough, and I just had to learn to become independent like pretty young. I had to learn to make my own money. I had to learn how to grow up very fast, and I feel like that's why I have the drive that I do today, because I just got led to no choice. And
I mean, you've come so far. Like even like when I met you, like you've come, like I feel like just so much more out of your shell. I reckon.
Like the person that when I started this business to now is a completely different person. Like just before I started this business, I was just so unhappy. I mean, I was super depressed. I hated my life. I hated everyone. And I mean, I still managed to get myself out of bed every day and like study and work, and I did all the things that I had to do, but then behind closed doors it was a complete shit show.
And that's the case for so many people as well, like you just don't know.
And I feel like this business really gave me more of a purpose, because I felt like my only purpose was to go study and then go to work, and it just wasn't fulfilling my own cup. Like, I just was doing that because I didn't know what else to do with my life. I mean, I only studied a law degree because I knew I would be successful in that field. As you probably know, lawyers make a lot of money, and that was the only thing that could vaguely interest me, because I knew in school you have to, as soon as you're in school, you just get told from when I actually think about it, when you're 16, you're coming up to the end of your high school years, they're already forcing you to choose the subjects that you want to study, and those are to set you up for the rest of your life and go on to university. And like, think about
when you're 16, like you have no life experience. You don't know. I wouldn't, if you asked me when I was 16 what's tax, I'd be like, what? Like anything.
When you're 16, like, you don't even know the world. Like, you're not emotionally even mature enough to make a full judgment of things, let alone to lead to the rest of your life decisions. And
like, that age, you're like acting on your emotions. Like, you don't have any responsibility. Even your brain's not fully developed. You're meant to decide what you want to do for 60 plus years. Like, it just seems so like unrealistic.
And like, I just want people to know that there's other ways out there, and 100%. I just knew that I was destined for more, and that wasn't going to be the rest of my life. Like, I am super grateful for every opportunity. I'm privileged and grateful to live in Australia. I'm grateful for everything around me, of course, but there is things that I wish I could change.
But I mean, that's like kind of made you the person that you are today. And like, I feel like when you're going through all that stuff, you always think like, oh, why is this happening to me? But like, I think that's a big thing, like, in this business, you really work on your mindset, and like, you kind of take everything like that happens that's bad, and it's just a learning experience at the end of the day. Like, it sucks going through it, but like, you wouldn't be able to inspire people now, and you would approach situations completely differently and everything. So I mean, I'm a big believer of everything happens for a reason, even though there's a couple of bad things that happen, but you should be very proud of yourself, and I'm excited for everyone to get to know TT.
I think like, everything that happens to us shapes us to who we are, and now I think, like, I always used to have a very big victim mindset and think, why is my situation like this? Why is my family like this? Why is my life like this? And I used to feel sorry for myself all the time. Like, I felt so sorry for myself, but then I made myself depressed and anxiety and just stupid
can't
stuff,
let it win anymore,
stupid stuff, and I just knew enough was enough. I needed to do something to get out and change my situation, and then I come across this opportunity, and just really, I didn't fully even know what I was getting into. When
I first signed up, I was like, whoa.
like, when I started, I didn't know anyone in Australia. Like, it was so bizarre. I don't even know why I started. Like, I was like, oh, yep. Like, I just didn't really think too much about it. I was like, cool, like, I want to learn about this investing, trading, I want to learn about this, and then here I am. I never thought it would turn into what it is today. And if you just want to explain a little bit of your story, a bit of your why.
I mean, like, my why has, like, always changed. I feel like I say that all the time, but I guess a little bit about, like, my drive. I guess, like, I grew up with a single mum, and I always knew that money was super, super important, and we did go a few weeks or like a few years just kind of struggling for money, and I just knew that I just didn't want to have a repeat. Like, I wanted to be able to give my kids absolutely everything, and I mean, my mum's always been so good. Like, I never felt like I went without, but you see the struggle as a kid. And I don't really like have much of like a relationship with my dad, and yeah, I think that the past couple of years I really kind of blamed myself for kind of everything that happened in my life, and like kind of like, yeah, pretty much everything, and I just kind of took it on board, and I never spoke about my problems. Like I was always the one to bottle things up.
Yeah,
like I never even used to cry as a kid. Like my mom thought I was like psychotic because I'd fall over and I'd be like, yep, no, I'm fine. Like I just never ever showed weakness. And yeah, I think like the last couple of years I've gone through just some like really bad mental health problems, like with like trigger warning, but like eating disorders and stuff. And when I came into this business, I was actually like in recovery, and a lot of people, I don't really talk about it, but like a lot of people don't know that when I started this, it was because I couldn't work. Like I was told like I wasn't able to work.
I remember you like went full time in this very early on.
Yeah.
And like you just stopped working, and I was like, oh, like, you're gonna go back to work? You're like, nah. But like you never really told me why.
Yeah, I think like I remember I said to you, like I can actually picture it, I just said like, I'm going all in, like this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I remember your face being like, oh really? Like it was so early on, and it was like, I think it was probably even like a month or two of me getting in.
I think I remember you said you told your work that you were having health problems, and I remember you like briefly mentioning, but you never told me like why.
Yeah, no, they actually told me like I wasn't allowed to work for like 3 months, and I couldn't apply for other jobs because it was all within like my working files or whatever, so I couldn't even apply for more jobs. Like I feel like the reason why I've come so far in this business is because like I was forced. I was forced to. Like I had to. Like I couldn't pick up another job, so I really like made it work because like I needed to survive. Like I had just moved out of home like 6 months before, and bills and rent and just expenses of living out of home, especially these days, is just so expensive. And I just thought, like I saw the potential very early on in this business, and I just thought, you know, I think everything happens for a reason, and I just went all in. But yeah, my whole why, I guess, is like just being able to prove to myself that I can do it, and because I've always really struggled with like what people thought about me and just everyone else's judgment, and like I can almost promise you, like everyone I went to school with thought I was the biggest bitch, like because I was just so closed off, and yeah, I just never wanted to ever show weakness, but like inside, like I was just so like absorbed with what people thought about me. And then when COVID hit, that's when I got really, really sick. And coming into this business, I just wanted to prove to myself and just like that I can do this. And even like sitting in front of a camera, like I would have never done that like a few years ago. Even posting TikToks, I was like way too absorbed. But I just decided like when I started this business, I'm just going to shut off, you know, that kind of that world of mine. And yeah, like I don't speak to majority of the people that were in my life back then, and I used to get all like sad about it, but like now I have like, I know who my real friends are. They've been my friends throughout this whole business. My why is just like proving it to myself. But
we also will do more episodes going into more detail about things. Like we're just kind of touching and scraping on the surface and not giving you too much information, just because we want to do full episodes, like really explaining and going into detail, explaining our mindset, and
everything we've learned, everything we do differently,
and how our life has changed, and just things that may give you guys also value as well, and maybe like, oh, like that's also me too, because a lot of people also go through the same things as well, and you never
100%
you never realize there's so many other people out there that also have your mindset and also have gone through similar situations and circumstances.
Like I feel like the only like similar thing that we had in common, like when we both started, was like we just wanted more for ourselves. And like I feel like the longer I've been in this business, the more people we speak to, and there's so many other people that just want to do something different from everyone else. And like the only difference between Tenisha and I to everyone else that hasn't yet begun like their online income journey is just because we decided to just start. You know, that's all it is.
Just don't start. And I just didn't hold myself back. I just said stuff it.
Let's just give it a go.
Let's do it. Some people just you know, take some time to get to that point, or they just never do because they're always too scared.
Exactly.
And I just couldn't always live my life being scared of things.
That's the number one reason why people don't start things.
Yeah,
It's because they're scared, or like they're scared of failing and stuff. But like when you get to like this point in the business, you love failing. Like failing's good because then you learn from it and you just become stronger.
You've got to realize in life you're never gonna grow or change or find your passions or do something different with your life if you don't actually try those things. I feel like for so long people just stay in the same job or stay in the same relationships or stay in the same
especially in Australia, like you can get comfortable easily.
A lot of people are just too comfortable doing the same thing, and they're too scared to take that leap of faith, and that's how you just always never grow. You literally never grow if you don't do something different. And I just didn't want to get to the end of my life and think and look back or what could have changed.
That scares me. Like if I'm sitting in like my deathbed and thinking, oh, I could have done this, or I should have tried this, like things could have been so differently. And I feel like a lot of people have that fear as well. They just don't like act on it. And you know, we can sit here and say these things now, but like that's another reason why the podcast, because we want to show you how we've developed this mindset and how we look at life differently as well. But at the end of the day, we're just two Aussie girls,
two blonde girls, two blonde girls from Melbourne.
Just share our experience, how we've got here, and all the pros, the cons,
the ins and outs, who we are as people. But also, like, I'm excited for the episodes where, like, we may not even talk about business. Like, we may just talk about, like, girl stuff, like, life advice, like, getting into good routines, healthy habits, and just, like, working on mindset as a whole, like, as a girl in this day and age. So, obviously, we're not limited. I mean, boys are probably going to listen as well. I mean, there's so many things that happen in life. There's so many complications and life happens to us all.
Such is life.
Such is life. And I think it's just learning how to deal with them and deal with those things. And I feel like the biggest thing that helped me get so far in this business is my stress tolerance. Because I went through a lot of stress as being so young, and I feel like that's why now I can cope with a hell of a lot. And maybe it's us helping you to learn how to cope with things or deal with things or just anything you can really take from this.
100%. And how to thrive. Like, I thrive off chaos, you know? And like when you're in this business, it can definitely feel like chaos. And we just want to show like how we've maneuvered everything as well. Like, it's crazy the potential that we have here, and hopefully this podcast does like
reach the right people.
Reach the right people, and we just want to be able to just show exactly who we are and our vision as well. Like, we've got so many exciting things coming up this year, and we just want to take everyone along. Like, we're just going to become little like vloggers. I'm so excited.
We already have so many trips planned. We just have so many exciting things in store for this year already. Like, the past year has been a crazy journey, which we will
we should do a year recap as well.
We'll do a year recap, and then also we're going to take you along with us throughout this year. And what a better way to start 2024 is giving you all the insights and bringing you along on how to become the CEO of your life.
Episode 1.
Episode 1 done.
We out. Cut the camera, TT.
Cut the camera, TT.